Hello, everyone. I'm Keith, and this is my dad, Kerwin.
Hello.
Welcome to Plaza Galaxy. And this is our spoiler review of episode 11 of Andor, Daughter of Ferrix. And we have a special guest, Nani of Triad of the Force. Triad of the Force is a channel which was featured on the podcast page at Star Wars Celebration, featuring Nani, Gus, and Mutt, three lifelong Puerto Rican friends who, after years of discussing the media they love, came together and created their show. Triad of the Force focuses on focuses their discussions on Star Wars, but their love for media spans everything from sci-fi, fantasy, comic book movies, and more. The trio look at all media critically from a Latinx perspective. Nani, welcome to our podcast.
Hey,
Thank you so much for having me. Very excited to be here.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, this is the first time that we've ever spoken to each other, our channels.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's like the channels collide.
yeah, we feel to be seem to be a part of a small circle. Yeah, we were at Celebration, and we understand that you're also at Celebration. And we've attended past press junkets as well,
hmm
which is very cool. But Star Wars Celebration, tell us about your experience there. Was that your first time going to Celebration?
Well, I wasn't able to go to Anaheim actually. Our podcast got selected to go, and we were lucky enough that Goose was able to go, and then two other people represented for the rest of us because I'm going law school right now, and my finals
Oh,
got extended at the last minute, so I would
yeah.
have gotten incomplete if I went. So I wasn't able to go, but apparently this last one was excellent, and everybody made a lot of really good friends. So I'm still really sad that I wasn't able to make it. But the first one I went to was Orlando, and that was way before we even started recording or anything. And I love the celebration. So I think London is going to be a stretch to get there, but hopefully the next one after London is back more towards home.
Yeah. Well, that's a very good reason not to attend Celebration. You're going to law
Yeah.
school. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
All right.
Mhm. So, how were you introduced to Star Wars?
So I actually started with the original trilogy. One of our neighbors was a really big fan when I was little, and that was back when you could only watch them on VHS, and I would like rewatch and rewatch Return because I was in love with the Ewoks. And when I was in around fifth grade, they did the re-release, and I was able to see them for the first time in the theaters, and I was hooked from then on. And it was history. My love affair with Star Wars from then.
And okay,
What?
okay, it's Mike. Okay. So, your co-host, could you tell us about how you met and why you decided to start a podcast?
Yeah. So actually, we've known each other for a lot of years. They went. One of them was since kindergarten with my husband. The other ones were friends with my brother since high school. And years ago, my mom's house was kind of the place where everybody got together to hang out, and we'd end up talking about Star Wars for hours and hours. And then the first time we did something together was Star Wars Celebration in Orlando. And we kept talking about maybe doing a podcast, but tomorrow, and ended up never doing it. And then COVID happened, and we started talking through the pandemic, and we're like, well, if there's any time to get this going, it would be now. We're all stuck at home. We have nothing better to do. There's still a lot of Star Wars that we wanted to talk about and share, and our perspective being Latin people. And we just decided to do it and started August 2020, and we're still going strong.
How about that? Yeah, we've heard similar stories,
Yeah.
of new podcasts starting during the pandemic. We started ours in 2021 just for that
Mhm.
reason because, we
Yeah.
were stuck at home. It's
We had
very
nothing to do, basically. We were bored out of our
right.
minds.
Yeah,
Yes.
very exciting. So we just needed something that was fun to do. And,
Yeah.
Keith and I will watch The Mandalorian every week and we enjoy talking about it. And we just decided that, you
We should
know,
make a podcast.
why not just try
Yeah.
it out. We've of course never done podcasting before. This is new to us. Anya, my wife and producer, went out and bought all the equipment and put it together herself, and so we were ready to go. So yeah, so we've been going at this for almost 2 years now.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's so exciting. It's so cool to hear about. And it's so nice to meet people through it, the experience and the love of Star Wars and other nerd media, as we like to call it. So, very excited to hear all those stories as well. I've also heard a lot of stories of people starting during the pandemic. So,
Yeah.
taking something negative and turning it into a positive.
Yes, exactly. All right, so we can go ahead and get started and talk about episode 11. So I just want to let people know, this is a live stream. So of course, bring in your questions or comments. If you have a question, just type in Q plus before the question. But feel free to join us and to be a part of the conversation. So this is a spoiler review. So we hope that everyone who's watching has already seen it. So let's talk about it. All right. So this is episode 11, the episode right before the finale, Daughter of Ferrix. And the title is referring to Marva, who unfortunately, as we see from the beginning of the episode, that Marva had passed on. She was not doing very well for the last few episodes. Yep.
Remember what I said? I was going to be so mad if Marva didn't make it to the series.
Yeah.
Expect a phone call with this one.
Well,
Here comes Keith.
yeah. It's unfortunate we didn't know whether Cassian would make it back in time to see her maybe before she went. We knew that she wasn't doing very well. So how do you think that was handled, her passing and the preparation that's going on with the people of Ferrix for her funeral?
Yeah, sorry to disappoint Keith, but I really wasn't expecting her to make it. She almost every scene with her actually does make me cry because she's been portrayed so well by Fiona Shaw, and it's so sentimental. I really wasn't expecting her to die off camera like she did, and right at the beginning. And then for me, B2 Emo's reaction, I started crying when the episode started. I was like, this is unfair, Andor. Why are you doing this to me? And to see, the droid going through grief and the whole entire village just waiting outside in silence and respect. And I love the ritual that they become, a brick in the walls of Ferrix. And it was really, really well done and handled, I think. I would have liked, for Cassian to have been able to say goodbye, but I think it will be even more impactful now that we know something's happening at the funeral. So
yeah. And I just want to jump ahead to Cassian's expression when he was given the news. So this is long after he's escaped prison. He and Melshi are on the run, and they ended back on Niamos. Thank you, Niamos. And he makes a phone call to Ferrix, and the person on the line tells him what happened. And Cassian takes it very well. He doesn't want to let Melshi know about what's going on. But do you think Cassian will make the funeral? Will he attend the funeral?
I think he was absolutely devastated, even though he was trying to hold it in, which is a really big plus to how Diego Luna has been handling the acting for this series, because even though he's trying to hide it and not say anything because he doesn't want Melshi to know, you can tell how devastated he is. And I think he knows that it's going to be a trap, but there's no way that he's not going to go to Marva's funeral. It's because that departure that they had, that she had finally found hope through what happened in Dani without her even knowing that Cassian had been involved, and him being so terrified that he's going to be scared for her all this time. And her answer to that is love. That is how it works. And there's no way he's not going there and saying goodbye to his mother. So I think we're going to see him back in Ferrix, and it'll bring the story full circle for season 1.
It would complete. I think it would complete his character arc in the series.
Yeah, I agree, Keith.
Right. And you're right that he knows that it's dangerous to return to Ferrix. But I think he's going to have regret if he does not try to attend her funeral. But if it was for any other reason, I don't think he would return. And I know that he tried so hard to get Marva to come with him right before he left Ferrix, and she, blatantly said no, and she's not going to do it. She's going to stay. So,
and she wasn't going to leave.
Yeah. So, I think right now he's, his thoughts are with her, obviously, and he probably thought, maybe there was more that he could have done to bring her, to take her out of Ferrix and bring her to some place where he can take care of her. And now that he's heard this news, I agree with you that I believe that he will be back in Ferrex, and it will be very dangerous for him. So I have
Yeah.
have no idea how this is going to turn out. We know eventually he'll escape whatever it is that he gets
Yeah.
himself into, but you wonder how this is going to impact the people of Ferrex. So like, who else will get involved? Will there be some type of uprising with the Empire once he gets there? We know that Dedra has already given the her people the orders to make sure that they have the funeral, keep it contained so that they can watch over the people who are coming in.
Time, the numbers.
Yeah, right.
Basically, Dedra wants to put them in a box, see what happens.
Yeah.
Like they're brats or ants in some experiments, like in an ant farm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. And
sitting ducks.
Yes. And Dedra, again, she will be there. We know Cyril will be there. We saw
definitely Cyril's gonna be there.
Exactly. This is very so. Yeah. So let's talk about Cyril. So Cyril gets this call, from one of his the members of the Morlana system, and I don't even know how they found out about it, but they found out, and he mentioned to Cyril that Marva's gone, and more than likely Cassian is going to be back in Ferrex, and you just saw Cyril's eyes lit up like this is exactly the moment he was looking for.
Not because he was happy his mother didn't survive, but because he finally got the lead he needed to find Cassian.
Right.
Which is all he's wanted the entire time, just Cassian, to get that chance that he never was given.
Yeah. And the idea of him going into, I'm assuming that it's his mother's credits. He goes into her safe, waits until she leaves and goes into her safe and steals her credits. Yeah. So he can take the next flight out. What do you think Cyril's fate is going to?
He's broke.
Well, okay. Well, he may not have enough money, but what do you think his fate is going to be once he gets there? Like, what is his plan? Like, so if he sees Cassian, what does he expect to say or do to him when he gets there?
I honestly think at this point he's not seeing things very rationally. He's not thinking things 3 steps ahead. He's just become so obsessed with Cassian Andor, and as soon as he gets that news, what you said, that look in his face, it's like, finally my chance for redemption. And he's been a little bit off his horse since he started kind of stalking Dedra there a little bit, so I really don't think he's being very rational right now. I don't think he has any idea what he's stepping into, because the obsession has clouded him so much that he has no idea how big this has become now. Because as you were saying, Dedra is already there. We have Cinta there. We have some other ISB agents there. We have the daughters of Ferrex who are waiting for that powder keg to explode after losing Marva. We have Cassian is probably going to show up. I think Bix is going to show us that she has way more strength and is not as broken as we've seen. And I'm pretty sure Luthen's going to show up as well. So it's going to be a lot of people in a small planet. Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting how they wrap up this season.
Well, we want to acknowledge the people who are in the chat. So we have Alex. Alex.
Hi, Alex.
Thank you, Alex. Happy Wednesday, he says. Tired, I'm mixing up my days. Haha. So he says hello to you and Keith.
Hi.
All right. All right. Okay. So moving on, let's talk about Mon Mothma.
Right.
Last week, she's
in some trouble.
Yeah, she's in a lot.
Right.
She met with a untrustworthy banker named Davos Scolden, and he had a proposal for her, or rather, his son has a proposal for her daughter. What?
Yep.
So he has an agenda that's not the greatest, and Mon Mothma told him, Tay will see you out, and you could just see her face. So now we're the aftermath of that. And she owes a lot of money because she used to pull 100,000 credits a month from her account. But then the Imperials began scanning all Chandrilan accounts, and now she's got 400,000 credits missing and no way to get them back.
Yeah. So it sounds to me that well, we don't know exactly what Mothma was doing with the money, or where, when she took the money out, where was it going? We don't know. But the fact is that now that the Empire is cracking down on these bank accounts for these, I guess, high net worth people, she has to explain, this missing 400,000 credits, and she's talking to her cousin Vel about it. Do you, from what we saw with her meeting with Davo last week considering having her daughter meet his son, do you think that is something that she will consider? Would she actually go through having the two meet?
Well, even from last episode, I thought it was very telling as the man was leaving that he said to her, when she said, "I'm not even considering it," and he said, "That's the first time you've lied in our entire conversation." I think it was really plain that from the beginning she was already considering it, even though she finds it very apprehensible. She's still thinking about it because she knows she's in so much trouble, and it's the whole galaxy that's in trouble from the Empire, and her family is not, completely safe, because especially last episode was all about sacrifice and what everybody has to sacrifice for freedom, and she knows that she's not exempt from having to make sacrifices. And then in this episode, I think it's very telling that even before we get that conversation with Belle, we see her daughter, Lita, I think, doing that, the ritual thing with, chanting the very, very conservative sayings of Chandrila, and the fact that she seems to be in favor of that type of, proposal and arranged marriage, and, very conservative views of Chandrila. So I think it makes Mothma consider it even more, that, oh, if her daughter's going to be in favor of it anyway, well, then maybe it's not that bad. So I think she is seriously considering at this point, especially when she's talking to Vel and we see her for the first time almost break down in tears, accepting how much in trouble she really is.
Yeah. And it also sounds to me that her husband parents probably on board with it too, if she were to entertain the idea of having, their daughter meet Davo's son, because he seems to be, he seems to be very traditional as far as Chandrila and their ways and their customs. So I don't think he would have a problem with having his daughter at least. I mean, we're not talking about marriage. Maybe that's too far ahead.
We're talking about meeting.
Just a meeting.
Yeah.
Right.
An introduction at school.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think that's what's been hinted at. So that's why it makes Mon Mothma nervous, because it's not just a meeting if you're talking about, because she was married off when she was like 16 too. So
yes. Very good point. All right. So we'll see what happens. Let's move on. Let's move on to Luthen and Saw. Okay. This was a very, very good meeting between Saw, Luthen. Kudos to these actors, Forrest Whitaker, Skarsgård. They're very dynamic.
Cassian Andor.
Yes, right. And then the conversation that they had, Saw. We know about Anton Krieger.
Anton.
Yes.
Okay. Anton Krieger. There's a plan that he and his men are going to cause a raid that
the power station Spellhouse.
Right, that the Empire knows about. Luthen knows that his men, Krieger and his men, are in trouble.
Yes.
So when he goes to Saw, well, prior to this meeting with Saw in this episode, he's gone to Saw and talked about Saw working with Krieger. Saw was not open to the idea of doing so, but now when he sees Saw again, this time, Saw's like, okay, I'm in, let's do it, let's go.
Yeah.
And Luthen has to say,
calm down,
let me
man.
explain.
Calm down, old man.
Right. And Luthen didn't have to do that, obviously, but he has a great respect for Saw, because he had to tell Saw the truth that Krieger's men are going to get set up. You don't want to be there, but he's willing to sacrifice these men. And Saw is looking at him, a little strange, like, okay, well, whose side are you on? Why would you do this?
Are you ISB?
Right, exactly. Like, who?
Side?
Yeah, do you have someone inside? Which he does, obviously. But you want to talk about that conversation that the two of them had, and what, as far as their relationship, do you think they're starting to gain a trust for each other?
I think they are. As we've already known from Sagar's different portrayals, we know that he's extremely paranoid, always. and he's very extremist. And I think with what's happening with Krieger, Saga saw that Luthen is just as extremist as he is, and is willing to make the sacrifices of people that are to him less important than that mole inside of the ISB that's going to be so important eventually. So I think now that he said the truth and that he was willing to sacrifice these people for what he thinks is better for the rebellion, I think Saw is going to start trusting him more now.
All right.
But we'll see where it goes, because Saw is unpredictable.
Yes,
Right.
he is.
Let's take
Absolutely.
a quick
Mhm.
So we have
Well, yeah. Not a problem. We're asking Q&A.
yeah.
All right,
Alex,
Alex.
I agree. Cyril is irrational and desperate. It will definitely be interesting to see so many people there.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too. And Ken Bishop. A few aspects of sacrifice that I find interesting in Andor is what individuals are willing to sacrifice of themselves and how willing or not they are to sacrifice others. Deep.
That's a very good.
Pinned comment.
Right. That's a okay. Yeah, that's a very good point. That's what really the rebellion is about, right? It's about sacrifice. So I like that, Ken. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah. So let's talk about my favorite scene in the episode. This is with Luthen, and he's in his ship.
Oh yes.
Yes.
The 180.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So let's talk about his skills as a pilot, and his quick thinking skills, because he of course didn't know that he was going to get caught, or he was in some type of zone where he wasn't supposed to be. This Imperial ship just comes out of nowhere and tells him, okay, well, you just stay where you are, identify yourself. He quickly went to his computer and had the his computer come up with an ID on the spot that he was from Alderaan. So they're going in and checking the information to see if it's accurate. His ship is caught in a tractor beam, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now they check his ID and he's cleared, but the guy who's the head of the Imperial ship says, well, should we, his worker says, well, do we want to let him go? I mean, he's cleared. And then, of course, the head of the Imperial says, well, no, this is practice for us. Let's take him in, and so the ship is going in, and you just see Luthen is just flipping these switches, and all of a sudden something comes out of the back and destroys the satellite, and he's able to break free.
BB gun, except there were 5 billion of them.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like, he was able to break free of the tractor beam, and like he puts it in reverse, and then he does a 180, a 360, like you said, and he's got these TIE fighters that are coming after him, and they're blasting it. It looked awesome. It was fantastic. Yeah, it was wonderful. So
taking names
is leading me
right.
So yeah. Okay, so all right, I have a question, but we're going to come back to that. We're just going to pause for Q&A. So we have some more Q&A. Let's see.
Alex Q+, do you think Luthen will be caught in the finale, or will he make it to the next season? Regardless, it was fun to see his escape from the Imperial fleet. All right.
Okay. Well,
yes, I think so.
You want to answer? Okay.
That message was retracted.
That's right.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think Luthen's gonna get caught. I think he might make it out safely, but he is running really close to the edge.
Yeah. I also think that he will make it to season 2.
Even though he's probably in their database now, like they probably have his ship ID. Even though we give him a fake one, they know the build of the ship and they know his voice.
Well, something I remember from the last episode when he was having a conversation with Lonnie, his mole in the ISB. The last thing he said to Lonnie is that he needs heroes. And then when we saw that next scene of Cassian and Melshi running through the snow. So Cassian at some point has to go back to Luthen and say, I'm all in. I want to work for the Rebellion. I want to, what can I do? And I think they're going to work
Probably
together.
be
So
the
that,
final scene or something.
yeah, so that says to me that Luthen is going to be around for a little bit longer. What do you think, Nani?
Honestly, when it started, I didn't think Luthen was going to make it to season 2. One reason being it's Alexander Skarsgård, so having him for 2 seasons I think would be huge. But hey, here's hoping. He's an amazing actor, so more Luthen, and Luthen's character is amazing, so more Luthen, the better. But I think he's kind of this mentor character that kind of needs to step away for season 2 to see Andor kind of come into his own. So I don't necessarily think he'll make it to season 2. I don't know if he's gonna. I don't think it'd be enough for him to just get caught, because at this point we know that he's all in, that he's willing to sacrifice everything. So I think he might die next episode. But I get predictions wrong all the time. So.
Well, that's very interesting.
Well, let's hope not.
That's very interesting.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
no, no.
Well,
Well,
good prediction. All right.
it is.
Ken Bishop. I think we'll see Luther get caught in a very sticky situation in season 2, where we'll have to make the ultimate sacrifice.
Right. Okay.
The Fondor? No.
Oh.
Let's hope the ultimate sacrifice is left at the Fondor and not him, because I need to hear him say Cassian Andor one more time.
Right. You want to see me again, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with Ken. That's why I think he will make it past the last episode of the first season. Yeah, I think there's more for the two of them to do together, Cassian and Luthen. But what I wanted to say when we were talking about the maneuvers that, yes, Keith.
Do you have another question?
Okay, all right. This is fine. What's the other question? All right.
All right.
Give us a minute. A question's coming up. Okay.
Ken Bishop, question. If you could make a costume based on what we see in Andor, which would it be?
That's an interesting question. If you could make a costume based on what we've seen in Andor, which would it be?
I need a vest. I definitely need a vest, because I could pull off a vest, especially one with like 1 billion pockets and 2 blasters. That would be awesome.
Okay. All right. I like Luthen's wardrobe. I like when he's wearing his...
When he's wearing the wig and
Well,
the
no,
extravagant gown.
Well,
And the rings and everything. Yes.
well, not quite that. I was thinking about the one where he met Lani, and he looked like a Sith, really. He had, he was standing in the dark, and he's wearing this cape, and he's got the gloves on. He just looks very
Luke
menacing.
is a Sith.
Who knows?
All you gotta do is Photoshop a lightsaber in his hand.
Right, exactly. Do you have a favorite costume, Nani?
I would, but I mean, it would be really expensive probably. Anything that Mon Mothma wears basically would be up there, because her outfits are just exquisite throughout. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
You're right. The Michael Wilkinson, I think, is a costume designer. Yeah,
He did a good job.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I was trying to get to with Luthen. All right. So finally, here we go. So I'm looking at the maneuvers that how he handled the Imperial Star Destroyer, and he knew exactly what to do if he got caught, and he got himself out of a jam. I think it could be possible. There's more to Luthen than we know.
Yeah.
Could he have been part of the Empire? Do you think that's possible, that he might have been an Imperial officer before and defected? Right, exactly.
Ooh, oh, I like that. It would go far in explaining how he knows so much about how they work and how they think, and how he's been able to keep under the radar for a long time. I mean, we know there's a tragic past there because of that kyber crystal that he carries around that is sacred to his people or something. So there is a possibility that he joined the Empire early on and then was betrayed by the Empire and then decided to, betray them back. But there's something really personal about his hatred for the Empire, because we saw that in that speech he had the last time, and everything that he's given, and the fact that he speaks to ghosts, and wow, what a speech. But we know that there's something very, very tied to his past there. And obviously what we saw, that scene was amazing, by the way. It's so old school Star Wars action that worked in an episode that was mostly a slow burn. So it was still really excellent to see. But I remember when that happened, me thinking, oh, this is as far as Luthen goes because, his skills lie in, convincing everybody that he's right. And then we see all his fighting skills, and his ship turns out to be, the James Bond of Star Wars ship with all those secret compartments everywhere. So it was really, really cool to see. And then the face of the Imperials, like, what just happened?
And he's like, oh my
this
God.
one dude just destroyed us.
Yes.
Star Destroyer, but we got Star Destroyed.
Yeah. Yes.
Luthen is just a very skilled person, and he had to have picked that up from someplace or from someone, So I'm going to throw that question out there. If anyone, thinks it's possible that maybe Luthen might have worked for the Empire, let me know what you think. But yeah, he knows he's really he's one up on the Empire. At all times,
and being able to cultivate someone enough to slip into ISB, he had to have been trained to teach, that mole how to, adapt to being inside the ISB and everything. So it makes a lot of sense. I hadn't really thought about it, but yeah.
Yeah, excellent point. And that's how he formed his relationship with Luthen. I'm sorry, not with Luthen, but with Lani. Of course, if they were working together, and then for whatever reason, Luthen decided he was going to leave, but he wanted to make sure that he still had Lani there as his eyes and ears, so that he can know what's going on behind the scenes with the Empire. But I think that's a very cool thing.
Let's take a quick break for comment Q&A.
Sure. All right. What do we have?
Devin Lindsay. He was.
Hi, Devin. Welcome back, Devin.
Hi. He was absolutely defected by them. He must have been very deeply hurt inside of him to take such massive moves against them. Potentially his family was taken away or something.
I like
Gosh,
that.
I hope not.
Well, no, I mean,
it has to be something big for Luthen to just devote his entire life to this. But what do you think?
Nani? Yeah, based on the speech he gave last week, Nani. So it seems
it was definitely something tragic. Yeah.
Yeah, he's lost a lot. Yeah. That makes sense to me, Devin. That was something that we don't know what it is. It was someone personal to him, loved ones he might have lost along the way.
Something personal, like maybe his dog.
You never know.
John 4, 2023.
You never know, but that's good. We have Alex. Excellent question. I think it's certainly possible that he was part of the Empire, especially given how he was a mole within the ISB, that he has a mole within the ISB and operates in a wealthy area of Coruscant, maybe familial ties. That's a very good point. I like that too. Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah. Nani, anything else in regards to maybe Luthen being a part of the Empire, formerly of the Empire?
Well, it also speaks to the way that he's able to have such different personalities and fit in so well in different areas of life. Like he's incredibly at home in his, gallery talking to Mon Mothma as he is foots on the ground in Ferrix and talking to Sakurera, who's like this extreme militant. So that chameleon aspect and the fact that he is the trainer of spies, basically, it would say a lot that he was somehow involved with the Empire at some point, or maybe a soldier in any kind of other aspect.
All right.
Yeah. Let's talk about the season finale. All right. So we know something's going to go down on Ferrix. We're going to see Ferrix again.
Yeah, something everyone's going to come for the funeral is the reason why they're all coming together. But now we just have to see what happens.
Do you have any thoughts as to what could happen in the season finale, Nani?
Oh, I don't know. I hate speculating because I'm always wrong. But I really think that there's a chance that Deidre's putting them in a small box is going to backfire, because that is a big community down there. You have the Daughters of Ferrix. Marva was very respected within her community. There was incredibly terrible circumstances for her husband's death as well that involved the Empire. And I think it's just a powder keg waiting to explode. And there's going to be a mistake somehow by the Empire side, and it's going to start a revolution within Ferrix. And I think that's really the first time that we're going to see Andor step up as the rebel leader that we're going to get eventually in Rogue One.
Right. And I'm wondering, well,
Yeah, how it all
yeah,
happens.
well, yeah, I am. I just wish that maybe Andor had help. Like if he knew someone else that he could bring with him to help him, because he knows that it's going to be. Ferrex is not the place to be. He knows that. But if he had maybe some
It's not the happening spot.
yeah, if he has
Well,
some
I think Cinta might actually meet up with him, and Vel already knows that Cinta's there, and I don't think Vel's gonna leave Cinta there alone either. So he might have Vel and Cinta on his side there. And we also saw that he has Nemec's manifesto within his things. So I don't know if that's gonna play into maybe characters that we've met before, that he's gonna actually have allies there. Maybe people that escaped with him, also from Narkina 5. Maybe it wasn't just the two of them that survived the escape. So
who knows, right? Yeah, do you think Kino would show up?
hey, I'm still hoping Kino had floating.
Boy.
And we made it somehow.
We did too. I
Yeah.
think we think he made it as well. Yeah. And then we didn't talk about Bix. Like, wow, like what she's going through.
Oh yeah.
Bix looks like she's been through a lot. She looked like a zombie.
Yeah, she is really. Yeah, she is weak. She can barely stand. She was leaning.
Really ruined people.
Yeah. So what they've done to the torture is just amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about the talent. I was gonna say, Ahorna, she is just fascinating as this character, and she really plays it well. If you look at her now, the makeup, how she just looks drawn and tired
and broken
and very weak, and she's still holding up. She's not giving the Empire any clues as to who Axis is. They think it's Krieger when it's not. We didn't know how she answered the question. Even if she answered the question, we don't know. But I think someone's going to have to save her. At some point. They got to get her out of there. So would that be Cassian? Could it be Cassian, or could it be?
Probably going to find Brasso, and Brasso's going to fill him in and be like, "Yo, Bix is in prison," and then Cassian's going to break her out.
Yeah, and then maybe there's a group of people at Ferrex that are going to be the ones to rise up and take matters into their own hands and try to take over the Empire. I mean, it's daunting because we know when you take on the Empire, casualties. It comes with casualties. It is a war. It's Star Wars, But I think that's the only way that that they're going to get her out. I mean, it's going to have to be full scale. They're going to have to go in with whatever weapons that they have, and then they have to free her, and probably just leave the planet, entirely once the once the funeral ends. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Quick comments.
Yes. Comments. All right, so we're waiting for comments to come up. We got
Ken Bishop. I would like to see Marvin's death be fake, as she has escaped somehow to show up again in season 2.
I've heard that before, actually.
It'd be nice, but typically in Star Wars, when somebody fakes their death, we know it's fake.
Has anyone ever faked their death in Star Wars?
Yoda?
Well, technically Palpatine.
Palpatine?
A lot of Jedi fake their death.
That's a good point. Palpatine. Somehow Palpatine returned. We don't know. That's a very good point. I'm sorry, what were we going to say?
A lot of Jedi faked their deaths to escape order systems.
Actually, that's true.
Ahsoka did too, because she had like a gravestone and all.
That's right. Rex, exactly right. Right. And at the end of Order 56.
Did too.
That's a very good point. Right. And then I think didn't Obi-Wan had to pretend to be.
That's what I said. He faked his death.
Yes, right, exactly. So all right. So I take that back. That could happen. But I heard the same thing. But she just looked very weak and very sick to fake her own death. Yeah, that's the only thing. Yes. Devin, I think Mon Mothma will meet Andor and house him in a secret location.
Like a safe house,
basically? Interesting.
Now we're going full on James Bond, safe house.
Well, that's a very good point, because at this point, Cassian and Mothma has not yet met yet.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's...
How are they going to meet?
Well, right.
They have to meet in the middle somehow.
Yeah, it wouldn't be on Ferrex, though.
No, because Mon Mothma's definitely not leaving Coruscant. She can't because she has so many senatorial duties to get rid of.
So
But
have
maybe
you
through Bell.
to Val, right?
Yeah.
Could be. Now, how about this idea? Let's say Cassian decides not to return to Ferrix.
Hmm.
What do you think he would do instead? If he says, "No, I can't go back. I want to see Marva, but I know I can't attend the funeral. It's too dangerous." Where else would he go? Where do you think, Nani?
I don't know. I think he would start trying to get allies because there's always that red herring also about his missing sister, which is what started the whole thing. So I think we're going to get a hint about that somewhere before the season ends. But I think that, especially when we hear that call that he makes to, he doesn't know that Marv is dead yet. And he says, tell her that I finally figured it out and she should be proud of me. Because I think he started to realize about not living completely selfishly and making a team and trying to change things. Because that last conversation they had, she was talking about rebellion. And I think that if he doesn't go to Ferrix, I think he would probably reread Nemec's manifesto and decide, okay, this is a way to act and start gathering some allies. So, because I don't really see him going anywhere else. He's already tried the whole living at the beach thing, and that didn't work out. So,
Excellent point. Now, I recall in the episode that when we didn't talk about this, but when Vel went to the shop, the antique shop,
Yeah,
and I think
yeah, she was trading blows with Claire.
oh
well,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
yes, right, and the two of them, right, the two of them don't get along with each other, and I think
Clearly.
Vel was there to let Luthen know about Marva. Is that is that why you think she was there?
Yeah.
So if let's say if Luthen doesn't find out about Marva, well, I got another question.
She's
So
going to Ferrix. He'll figure it
okay,
out.
well, I was thinking maybe he wouldn't go to Ferrix, but if he does know about Marva, he will go to Ferrix. He'll meet up again with Andor, and then the two of them will leave, maybe with some other people from Ferrix,
Mm-hmm.
and then go to Coruscant, and then that's how he would meet Mama, maybe.
Maybe.
'Cause I get the impression from from Brasso. To me, he looks like someone who could be a member of the rebellion. So I think
Fighter.
maybe like
Yeah.
him,
Mhm.
could be also Bix. If they can get a few people from Ferrix to go with Cassian and Luthen to Coruscant, then that's you have some more people to, you know, to join your rebellion. So that's also possible. All right,
Let's get
final
back to the rest
comments.
of the
Okay,
questions.
what do we have?
Ken Bishop. Kino had to found an imperial.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Kino had to found an imperial floaty to get safely out of that prison.
I got you. And Devin, all right. I can also see Kino joining Andor in the rebellion with help from Mothma. I honestly, again, I really do believe that Kino would have made it out. He would have gotten a ship. You had Imperial
Or
officers
that
there.
imperial floaty.
Well, Imperial officers are also there. They needed a way to get out. So I'm certain that he would have gone back and convinced one of these Imperial officers to get a ship and take them
And
off.
fly him out.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think Kino is still around. We may see him again. Maybe not next week's episode, but maybe in season 2.
Alex, I like Nani's point. I can see Vel and Cinta and possibly other prisoners helping Andor and hopefully freeing Bix during the riot too.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, it's going to be big. I was thinking devil's advocate whether, if Cassian decided not to go to
Yeah.
Ferrix, but he will. He has to.
Yeah, I
because-
mean, how are we gonna have an ultimate episode?
Yeah.
Hey, he's not on.
And he's not there. It's like everybody else is on
Hey,
Ferrix.
Dad.
Ferrix, and it's like Cassian's like,
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm
Yeah.
traveling. Not going.
Exactly.
No,
So-
that's not gonna happen. I don't think so.
He has to be
The
there.
fight
Yeah.
is like Luthen, Ferrix, Bix, Ferrix, Brasso, Ferrix, Cyril, Ferrix, Dedra, you guessed it, Ferrix, Cassian, on his ship. What?
Somewhere else. Everybody's looking for him, and he's not there. So, all right. Do we have
I
any
can't
fun?
imagine what it's gonna be like when Cyril and like Cassian first see each other. Cyril being super obsessed, and Cassian being like, "Who are you?" Because he has no idea who this person is. You know, it's like, you are the bane of my existence. Who are you? So
Yeah,
I think that's going to be something to see as well. So
He's probably not going to recognize her from their first meeting because Cassian
no,
was
of
just
course
in his
not.
face for like 5 seconds. If he
Devin,
rubs in
yes.
his face, his victory.
I would also like to see Miro encounter Andor in a blaster battle. Ooh, interesting.
Maybe Cyril will join in. Maybe
Hmm.
it'll be like a 2v1 like dodgeball. Except Cassian's probably gonna win.
Speaking of Miro, there are people talking about whether she's going to make it out of the season finale. I think she will.
Why wouldn't she?
Well, people think that maybe because we don't see her in Rogue One at some point she's not going to make it, and
Yeah.
that on Ferrix is where she's going to meet her end. But I think she actually is going to continue into season
She could
two.
be reassigned somewhere else. I mean, like just because the person wasn't in the movie doesn't mean they're dead.
True.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
true. However, I think there's going to be an encounter between Deidre and
Dedra and Cassian have to meet it.
right, but as far as the ISB, Krennic and Dedra are going to meet, and I think there's going to be a huge power struggle between the two, and we know that Krennic is going to win out because you can't have them both because they're too similar, So at some point, the two of them have to meet, and then one of them is not going to make it, and we know it's not going to be
One
Dedra.
of them is not going to get the position.
Right, and we know it has to be Dedra because she doesn't make it to Rogue One. So I think I'm looking for that power struggle between the two of them.
I think there might end up being a partnership between Deidre and Cyril Karn, actually, because there's something strange going on there with those two.
Cyril is very strange. Yeah, so
He's a little stalkerish.
yeah.
I don't know why. She's like, I follow you from work sometimes to see
it's creepy.
what.
Very
Hold
scary.
on, flag on the play. Why are you following people?
Mm-hmm. And I wonder what his reaction would be when he sees Dedra on Ferrix.
Cyril needs friends. That's the problem.
He needs to get out from
the
under
one
his
resource Cyril doesn't have.
His mother. Yeah.
His mother. Yes, he really needs to. Why didn't he do that sooner? Like if he didn't have any money to get away, why didn't he just take the credits sooner and then find an apartment somewhere else and not live with his mother? But I don't know.
I don't know why you'd move in with your mother only to rob her and then move out.
Well, right.
Plus, we needed that occasional sitcom of Cyril and his mom.
Oh yeah. It feels like The Odd Couple. It really does.
Oh yeah, and it's so incredibly well acted too. So.
Oh, wonderfully.
It's like Cyril here, slouching. Cyril, you had your collar pill. Look at me, I'm desperate. I'm just eating my cereal.
Leave me alone with my cereal. Are you gonna go out to work looking like that?
Are you going to work in that, Cyril? I've been promoted. Oh, I knew you do great things, Cyril.
And she's so mean. She's so mean.
She's actually oh boy. Oh, she's great though. But
I know it explains so much about Cyril when you meet the mother. It's like, that makes sense.
We just need an episode about Cyril and his mom just so we can do this.
Just a sprout.
The three of us could just make jokes about Cyril.
You never know. Cyril and mom.
That would be nice. Yeah. Let's pitch it to Lucas.
I love Cyril. Yeah, he's a very interesting character. I don't have no idea where he's going, but we'll find out. We'll see what happens next week. All right. Any final comments? Let's check to see if we have any final comments. All right. But in the meantime, Nani, we just want to thank you for being a part of this our podcast. This is wonderful. I'm so glad that you're able to make it. Where can people find you?
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm actually not personally on social media all that much, but you can find Triad of the Force everywhere. Just search Triad of the Force and you will find us. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and anywhere that podcast can be found, YouTube and Facebook, I think, as well. So give us a search and you can, check us out.
All right. Wonderful. And then Keith, where can people find us?
Well, right. Alex says my impressions are great, so I'm gonna do the wrap up in my Cyril's mother voice.
Okay, go ahead.
You can find
Are you going to get through this?
yeah.
Okay.
You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Radio Public, Amazon Music, Audible, or wherever you get your podcasts. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Sit up straight.
Fathers and Galaxy.
There you go.
Check out our website, fathersandgalaxy.com. Please donate to our Patreon page. Check out our speaker page as well. And don't tailor your collar, Cyril.
Chew.
Don't chew your mouth open.
You eat too much sugar. You should eat vegetables in your diet.
No more blue milk with Cocoa Puffs.
Only a cereal. Eat some kale for breakfast.
All right. All right. Okay. All right.
Throw some celery sticks in your milk.
That's right. Oh my God. Okay.
Don't even cut them up.
Okay.
Use them like a straw.
Okay. So we do 2 live streams per week. Usually Wednesdays we do live streams related to Star Wars, and then Thursdays we do Marvel related live streams. So tomorrow,
Cool.
so by the way, Nani, have you seen Black Panther: Wakanda Forever?
I have not.
Yeah, we're not going to spoil it for you.
Don't you dare, Keith. I need to go see it in the theater. So
Yeah.
don't no. Is it good though? Yeah.
Well, so you may have already seen the trailers, but there's a character, Riri Williams, who is in the movie. We're not going to tell you what happens, but
She's a character
she's a character in the movie.
with an awesome suit.
Yes, okay, that's enough. That's enough.
It's in the Lego sets. Lego gave away a lot of stuff.
Yeah, well, we're not going to talk about. We know that, but that's a different story. So we're actually going to talk about the character, the origins of the character. So we're going to go and
That'll be our Thursday live stream.
Tomorrow, yes. Look into her backstory, why she was created, who created. So, yeah. So we're looking forward to that. So we just want to let people know that that will be our live stream for tomorrow.
And
so
by the way, we're taking Thanksgiving off because,
obviously.
I need my cornbread and my stuffing and my turkey and my mac and cheese.
Yes.
So my kale and my spiral ham.
Yes, and your blue milk.
And my cereal.
And your cereal, we'll have that
and
for
my
breakfast.
tailored collar shirt.
Okay. All right, Nani, thank you again. It was a pleasure having you on our podcast. Thank you so much.
Very welcome.
Say hello to the rest of the team and good luck to you in law school.
Thank you. You guys as well.
All right.
You are the MVP, Keith.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Have a good holidays.
Yes, you too. Happy holidays. So thank you, everyone. So until next time, take care, and we will see you again.
Goodbye.